What's going on, guys? This is Trent. Today I'm going to be checking out something a little bit different. It was requested by Alex94. He requested that I check out an artist by the name of, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, if I'm not, I'm sorry, KOKIA. And the translation for the song title looks to be, I'm going to double check to make sure I'm not saying it incorrectly, The Sea of Sounds. So we're going to go ahead and check this out. This is a live version of the song that was played in 2012. It looks like it's a fairly old song. So we'll go ahead and check it out. I went ahead and found a translation of the lyrics and pulled them up. So I'm going to go kind of through those lyrics at the end of the video to maybe give my interpretation of what maybe she's talking about, and I could be completely wrong. But let's go ahead and check it out. It might be a little interesting. Again, this isn't going to be heavier metal, so if you're expecting that, then you're mistaken. So let's go ahead and jump in and check this out, guys. Quality go up any higher. Yes, unfortunately, guys, the quality of the video is still going to be in 480p. I'll just pause it real quick, just kind of make a few statements. So far, she had really pretty strong and I'd see very operatic style of vocals here. Obviously, I'm sure there's going to be more to it. Looks like it's starting to pick up a little bit into the song. Very pretty, relaxing piano intro that it's definitely enjoyable. And that's one thing I really enjoy the sound of is piano, especially when they incorporate piano into metal music. I think it just makes it sound really full and just raw. It allows for, you know, maybe the production of more raw emotion, or makes it feel that way, or the perspective of that. I just really like the sound of a piano or even a violin, for that matter. And so one band that sticks out to me that uses a piano quite a bit is Make Them Suffer in the metal genre. Another band that sticks out to me that uses a violin would be Eminence. Those guys are killer. The vocalist pulls out a violin in a lot of his songs, and I just think it makes the song sound really full, really good, just kind of adds an extra layer, an extra texture to the music. So that's really cool. Obviously, I have no idea what she's saying here, so that's why I said at the end of the song, I'm going to go through the lyrics with you guys a little bit, just kind of give my interpretation of what I see. This video might be a little bit longer because the live video itself here is almost 8 minutes long. But so far, she's got a really killer voice, really nice voice, very strong, very vibrant, just full. She's projecting very well. Obviously, I'm not really a skilled singer by any means. My forte is more screaming, fry vocals, false chord, etc. So I don't have a lot I can really critique or say anything here other than just really give my, a raw reaction of how I feel about the song or what I think about the song, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and keep going. going to pause again just to say a few quick things. You know, I see there's obviously a guy back here on what looks like maybe an electric style, more of an electric piano, and then a traditional piano over here in the video. It brings definitely good ambiance behind it. It looks like they're also either putting a lot of reverb on her voice and allowing it to echo through to cause that more of a full sounding almost choir, or that's actually something that maybe this guy here on the electric piano is doing, creating that echo of almost like a choir sound. And to me, that just brings in and makes it sound really full and makes the performance sound really full. Even though it's just her staying there, it sounds like the whole room is just filled with it. Which is definitely cool considering the song is, you know, a sea of sound. So making it sound very powerful, very full within the room, to me would be very important if I was in that position. So I think they're doing a great job of that. And it's funny because it sounds like they're building up to something like big boom. Maybe it's going to happen, but it's like I'm waiting for it and waiting for it. But that also might be me because of metal and always the build up before a breakdown. Like, you know, a breakdown's about to happen. But I'm not too familiar with this style of music, so this could just be it. You know, it's just like a tease the whole time. Let's go ahead and keep listening. Okay, now they get a little bit better of a look. Let's go here. So he's not on anything electric. It looks like this just looks like basic drums with maybe some effects on it then. So I'm wrong there. So I don't know maybe where the ambiance is coming from, or maybe it's just a vocal pedal or something along the lines of it. But I can also see back here you got guys acoustic guitar and some other things. So maybe there's just some things behind the things that I can't see. This is like something you'd see in like a movie, like a final battle scene, and this song's playing, like in Lord of the Rings or something epic. So I gotta just point something out. So just to kind of prove it, I mean, she proves it all throughout the video, right? Just even right here. I know it's kind of a bad freeze frame, sorry. But just in general, just any of these clips here. In the last video, if you watched it, I talked about how the vocalist of the Gazette was taking the microphone and he was cupping it hard. And even when he was singing, he had his thumb wrapped around the microphone and not the handle, microphone. And the vocalists tend to cup the mic because they think they need to do it to make it sound louder. And that's just a bad habit to get into. And this just proves here, even her, she has a strong voice, but she's not even on the mic. Look how far back. I mean, she's standing, mic here, from it's hard to see on the side, but it's just like, and she has no issues using that voice and the dominance in her voice and the projection and the power in her voice to really get that out there. Whereas in the last video, you saw a lot of that with when he came to screaming. And so to me, he struggled with projection when it came to his screaming. But this is just to prove you don't need to cup the mic. There is no reason to cup the mic. But I just wanted to say something. All right, so that was KOKIA and the song. I want to make sure I don't say it wrong because the Sea of Sounds. So, I'm hitting buttons. Sorry about that. So, I liked it. It's definitely not something, you're not going to see me hop in my car and then crank up the stereo and listen to KOKIA. I mean, that's just not something I'm going to be jamming out to in my car. But, every now and again, listening to something like that is just a reminder of how beautiful some people's voices are and how it's just a completely different world from the world that I'm in. Now opera is in a sense a lot of metal singers. I've talked to a couple vocal teachers and they've talked about metal singers being able to have the ability to switch over and be able to do say an operatic style of voice or tone super easy because they're almost using the same, I don't know the technicalities of it, but obviously you're using a lot of projection. You're projecting from the diaphragm just like they are and using very similar vocal cords from my understanding. And I could be wrong, so if somebody does know this and want to kind of correct me on this, I'm open to it. To provide that very projected, loud, ambient voice when it comes to opera singer or very operatic sounds, which I could be wrong here, but that's kind of what I hear with KOKIA in this particular song. Now again, with a song like this, it's very passionate. You can tell she's very passionate about it. It's called The Sea of Sound. So I wanted to look up a translation of it, just kind of go through it, maybe do just nothing too detailed, nothing too crazy, but just kind of go through it. I'll read it out loud. Obviously my voice isn't going to be nearly as pretty, but I'm just going to kind of read it out loud and maybe give my kind of interpretation of the lyrics for you guys. And you guys can maybe give your opinion. I think that might be kind of cool. So it starts out with the sounds that vibrate in the tense air. Where do they come from? I surrender to the music, sinking deeply into the waves of sounds. By touching the sound, the heart of glass now begins to awaken. I surrender to the music, sinking deeply into the waves of sounds. By touching the sound, the heart of glass now begins to awaken. The feeling that comes from the bottom of my heart, the sounds that vibrate in the tense air. Where do they come from? Open your heart. The feeling that comes from the bottom of my heart, the sounds that vibrate in the tense air, where do they come from? I surrender to the music, sinking deeply into the waves of sounds. By touching the sound, the heart of glass now begins to awaken. O sound fell onto a world of blue, a gift from heaven, listen well and open your heart. The feeling that comes from the bottom of my heart, the sounds that vibrate in the tense air, where do they come from? And by touching the sound, the heart of glass now begins to awaken. So I'd like to kind of get an understanding of potentially, what she's kind of talking about here, the Sea of Sounds. And, I think it could be subjective. Maybe it has a very, very deep meaning for her, or maybe it's something from a book or something else. But, just I surrender to the music. I surrender to the music, sinking deeply into the waves of sounds. That just takes me and almost like for me, I guess, again, this is an opinion, an expression of how powerful music is. How music has the ability to take your mood and just completely flip it. You know, you can be in a pissed off mood. You listen to maybe your favorite song and you feel a little bit better. Or maybe when you're pissed off and you decide to listen to pissed off music because it makes you feel better about yourself being pissed off. And so a lot of people use music as medicine, which is not a bad thing. It's just music is a very powerful thing that I think is very not understood enough by those who don't listen to enough music, but completely understood by those who do listen to music, or maybe in a band, or, you know, it's an outlet. You know, it's an outlet for your stress, your anger, your happiness, your sadness, any emotion that you can muster up. You can release that through or via your music, through your lyrics, or even through your style of playing your guitar, your bass, violin, whatever instrument it is. That can be your outlet. The only thing I don't really understand in the lyrics here is, by touching the sound, the heart of glass now begins to open. And maybe my interpretation of that is someone with a glass heart that's maybe easily hurt, maybe easily closed off, and just frail and afraid to open their heart to anything, and it just kind of closed off, has all their walls up. Maybe that's just kind of because they're hearing, you know, this music and being a part of it, and letting that music really engulf them. It's kind of allowing their heart to be vulnerable, in the sense of letting something new in. And I kind of take that from looking at maybe like a relationship standpoint, but a relationship with music. Whether whether that's what she means at all, I don't know. Again, this is me loosely interpreting a translation, you know, of a song that's looks like written originally in Japanese, but it looks like it's been everywhere. Let's see that there's in French, Italian. So I don't know if it's originally written in Japanese or not. I know that she's a Japanese singer-songwriter. So I just kind of look at it as her really emphasizing the power of music, the power of sound, and talking about, you know, the sounds that vibrate in the tense air. So it's like the wavelengths that the sounds create within music, and, you know, trying to figure out where that comes from. Why is that so powerful? Again, I could be 100% wrong, and this could be just something she's talking about that, you know, has nothing to do with what I'm saying. But again, this is just my very loose interpretation of it. But I definitely want to kind of check it out, especially since it seems like a very emotional, powerful song for her. Again, the Sea of Sounds is what it looks like it's translated into. And again, that could be wrong. This whole translation could be wrong, but I'm kind of going based off of this, and it seems to be fairly accurate if I had to guess. It's a cool song. You know, it's saying, you know, open your heart, and the feeling that comes from the bottom. Well, what I don't understand, if this is correct or translating correctly, is it's saying open your heart, and then the next line saying the feeling that comes from the bottom of my heart, and the sounds that vibrate in the tense air. But what I do understand is, you know, I surrender the music, sinking deeply into the waves of sounds. By touching the sound, the glass of heart, you know, begins to awaken, allowing that heart that was so frail and scared to be open is now opening up to what they're hearing, open to what they're seeing, maybe being more accepting of it. And, you know, one of the lines, "Oh, sound fell into a world of blue, a gift from heaven. Listen well and open your heart." So I'm not sure if she's talking about a specific sound or a specific song or something specific, but talking about, you know, music is a gift from heaven, you know. Depending on your beliefs, you know, you could believe that, and I could believe that, and I do believe that. I think music is a gift from heaven. Now, and a sound fell onto a world of blue. I'm assuming that it's talking about, because they're saying it's a sea of sounds, talking about the waves everywhere, and with the waves of music, the waves of sound, and comparing that to the ocean and how vast the ocean is, and the vastness of the waves in the ocean, and just kind of talking about falling into a world of blue as a kind of just like falling into a world of blue because it's a vast waves, and there's sound waves everywhere. And comparing that to like the ocean, how large the ocean is, it's taking up, you know, the majority of the earth. That's just kind of my interpretation on it. It's a cool song. I like this. I like the song. Very strong. I wish there was a little bit more detailed lyrics. I wish she went into a little bit more detail about things, maybe instead of being so repetitive. Maybe going to a little bit more, adding some more lyrics into the song just to kind of make it maybe have a deeper feeling. But again, I'm not the singer. I'm not the songwriter here. So if she felt this was the way it needs to be, then that's how it should be. I just always, for me, again, personally, I always wanted, you know, I click on a music video and it's like, oh, this music video is 8 minutes long. I'm like, wow, they must have really something really cool to tell here. And I look up their lyrics, and it's repetitive verses just repeated over and over and over again. It's like, well, this could have been a 3-minute song if you only repeated it twice. So I've never understood why the length of the song has to be so long if you're just saying the same thing over and over again. But again, I'm not the singer, I'm not the songwriter, I'm not seeing the vision that this individual had while they were writing this. But guys, as always, that was KOKIA and the song The Sea of Sounds, requested by Alex94. You know, like I said, don't be afraid to request other genres. I want to check it out. I want to be open to it. I want to look at it. Again, am I going to jump in my car and jam out to KOKIA tomorrow, tonight, maybe a week from now? Probably not. It's not typically what I listen to, but I'm always open to checking something new out. And I'm always going to be honest with you. If I straight up don't like it, I'm like, yeah, no, this sucks. I'm going to tell you. But I am open to checking things out. So work with me, check out videos, and, you know, tell me what you think below. If you like the video, awesome. If you dislike it, tell me why. You know, obviously don't be mean about it, but just like, hey, I dislike this because I think you could do this better, or something. Constructive criticism I'm always open to, like my English. But thanks, guys, as always. Subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Show your friends. Share the video if you'd like, or even click on the little notification bell. Be notified when I do upload. And always, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.